Okay, cool. Alright, let's begin. So, welcome everyone to a new series in the making, History of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, and you guys have been following my YouTube, you'd have seen that we've gone through 2 episodes, and the goal of this is to highlight the life and journey of all the different Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, big names throughout the game over the years, and luckily enough, we're honoured enough to be with Joshua Schmidt of CCG, arguably one of the best players in Europe, possibly even the best European player currently. So we've got a lot to talk about, and hopefully we can keep getting some more big names onto this series.
Good thing we don't have a face cam because you're making me blush.
And yeah, I know you can't see me. This isn't the Nadir show. This is the Joshua Schmidt show, so that's why. Okay, so I guess you guys can come up with questions and stuff you want to ask. Remember, Josh doesn't care about how to make your Fluffle deck better and stuff like that. We're talking about, the history of his Yu-Gi-Oh! Career and shit like that, So that's where we're gonna start off. So I mean, we'll be here for like half an hour to an hour, something like that. And yeah, so take it away, man. Tell us how you started playing. Where did you?
You wanna have like the full story?
Yeah, it's like the whole biography, of like the player.
Oh man, okay. That's a long story, man.
That's the point.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, I guess I started playing in like elementary school. Which is it like? I don't know, 2003, 2004 maybe, when the first stuff came out. I was like, how old was I? 8 maybe. But like not nothing competitive, obviously, just like the normal like playground shit, like Dark Magician, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and like when you would have like an English card, you would be the most broken kid on the playground because no one would know what it does, so you could do whatever you want with it. That kind of stuff.
So we're off to a good start with soft cheating, just so we've got that on record.
In elementary school, yeah, I guess. No, yeah, like not just like the usual, I didn't start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively until like way later.
What was your first deck? Even if it's like a shit deck.
Like I remember, like from like elementary school and shit, I don't remember what I actually played. I think it was just like the random shit that like kids just play, like they play whatever they think is cool. I remember the first deck I took to a locals, and that was like obviously Exodia.
Wow.
Like a true nub.
How old were you when you actually went to your first locals?
That should have been 2007, 2006, so it was probably 12.
Okay. So you actually entered like a proper tournament and stuff when you were 12?
I mean locals, yeah.
All right, cool.
It wasn't actually, no, the local that we had here, it wasn't actually hosting a tournament. It was just like
just people meeting up and stuff.
Yeah, and if you play, you had to play against like a certain number of people, and once you did that, you would get like a parallel rare card. That's how it used to be here. So like you would just get like a piece of paper, and then you would like enter the people you played against, and then you would get like a parallel rare at the end, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember like the first local I ever went to was something where, because I live in a very small town where there's no local here. The nearest local back then was like 30 minutes away by car, so I couldn't go there when I was like 11 or 12, obviously. I remember my father went, like he drove me to one of these. That was my very first local. And I remember trading away like a Jinzo for like these Hamon, Raviel, and Uria shit, which I think is like I lost like 50 euros but I remember like being happy as fuck about it afterwards. It's like so like worth it, I guess.
Wow.
Because like Jinzo was like that shit was like money back then, and like the gods were obviously shit, but
so
yeah.
did you start like well, I mean, you started playing, but like, did you just keep playing like regularly, like throughout, like up until now, for the most part?
Oh yeah. I think I never stopped, like, really.
All right. So when did you first start getting into like competitive play?
Like after that, I was starting getting into like strategy a little bit more with like there were these like magazines. I would love to read these. where they would like print deck lists from like events and stuff like that, and just bring articles about card games. They would come out like once a month or everything, and my mom used to buy me those. I would love those. And then there was like
Do you remember the
online.
name?
There was it was Card Master and Card Collector. I think I still have them somewhere.
Wow. Does anyone in
Um,
stream know these magazines or have them? Because that'd be really interesting.
Germans should know them.
Nice.
And I actually used them as reference when deck building for a long time, because they had like articles which they were like terrible articles, but like I kept them around and I used them for like reference when building decks for a couple of years.
See, he says reference, but it probably just means net deck.
No, they would have like I remember one specific article that like explained what kind of type of deck you would be building, and it explained like OTK decks and control and burn and whatnot, and it was pretty shitty, but I used that whenever I was building a deck when I was young.
All right. So
Yeah,
what was
people
your...
in chat remember. People are writing. Kid Zone was one that I liked as well, but Kid Zone sucked because they had too much anime content and not enough card game content. I hated that. I only bought it for like 2 or 3 pages of Yu-Gi-Oh content. The rest I never read.
You could have just sat in the store and read it and then put it away when you're done.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have them today.
Oh, the shame. So what was your like first deck then that you built, like with these magazines or whatever?
So like as soon as I started to go to locals afterwards, like regularly, I started like playing with like actually like better people than me, and that was around the era of Cyber Phoenix and gadgets and stuff. I think that's 2007, and that's when I started getting some better decks. You know, I still couldn't afford like meta, I think, but I started to learn from people who could actually play meta.
Did you have like some local influences and stuff and people that would help you?
Oh yeah, quite a few. Like at the first local I went to, they actually had some players were actually pretty successful in Germany. Like they're all not playing anymore, but like people like Florian Becker or Benny Goltermann were people who are actually pretty successful in like the Frankfurt area. I don't think anyone still knows them, but like, yeah, those were people where they would just take me with them to some events and stuff like that. Sometimes borrow me cards I would be allowed to test with them and stuff like that. So yeah, but like the first like time I would be able to play a competitive deck would be Gladiator Beasts and Blackwings, because those were the first ones were actually cheap to play. And also I remember one big time was when Charge of the Light Brigade got reprinted and JD got reprinted in Turbo Pack, I think it was. That's the first time I was able to afford Lightsworn. So these were the 3 decks, the first 3 good decks that I was able to play around like 2008, 2009, I think.
So Yu-Gi-Oh was really expensive back then, and you were obviously just a kid. Like, how are you like even being able to like fund this shit?
No, I wasn't being able to play. Like I remember the time around like Teledad, where there was like by that time a pretty big local shop had opened in the city I live in. So we would have like locals every week with like 20 people or something, and then we would have monthly like Xbox tournaments. So like that was a pretty good testing ground, because those had like the people from Frankfurt would be coming over, and we would have like 80 people or something. And everyone was playing like Teledad and Lightsworn, and I was sitting there. I remember I was playing Plants.
Plants
like
were good, weren't they?
And shit.
Plants were good, weren't they? For a while or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but like after that, like later.
Oh, okay.
I remember having Plex Brothers. I had 2 Plex Brothers. That thing was like 40 or 50 euros back then. I never had 2. I have no idea how I funded that. I was at locals a lot. I was there once like every week pretty much, and I was trading like hell.
Nice.
Back when I actually had a trade binder. So yeah. Like I had a few cards, but not enough. So I was just trying to work with that, and I was like not very successful. Obviously, I did alright at locals.
Did you remember?
That's definitely the period where I improved a lot, or like the most, was when that shop was around, because that shop closed a few years ago. That's when I basically stopped playing locals a few years ago.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So, what was like? Do you remember your first like proper like competitive duel? Like sitting down at locals, getting ready for round one.
No, but it must have been around that time,
Oh
pretty
wow,
much.
I remember mine. um,
Yeah, but yours is not like 8 years back or something, right?
yeah, I suppose I got stomped by dragon rulers playing agents, but that's another story. So as you developed and played more and more at this locals, you were like obviously getting better and better. And but do you recall like your first successes in the game? Well, even at
Oh
like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
local
Those are
level.
like that's very. I remember those very well. That's like around 2010 when the first time I actually won something was a non-premier event, which that's like the biggest non-premier event series in Germany is the Great Tournament Challenge in Dreieich, which they host like I think twice a year or something, and they nowadays have like around 200 to 250 people.
Mhm.
And back then it used to be like the same. It used to be like a huge tournament. The location is absolute garbage. They have like you have like no space to play, and it always goes like so late that half of the top cut has to leave before they can actually finish because the train connection is so bad. But it's pretty close to me, and I remember winning that. I won that with Flemwell Cat Synchro.
Flamville
The
cat synchro.
Yeah,
Wow.
there was a
Okay.
version like there was normal cat synchro, and then there was like the fire cat synchro where you played like rekindling and flamewell dog and flamewell magician.
Nice. So you
um
didn't go to any regionals or something before this, or
hmm?
you didn't have any like regionals and stuff that you went to before this?
Oh no, up until that point I actually did not manage to qualify for a single German nationals because back
Really?
then it needed qualification. That's actually a funny story from 2010. I There was this tournament series. It was a tournament series of non-premier events, and it had like it was organized by the online forum, and you could like they would have tournaments every few weeks, and you would get points and stuff for like a grand final. And I think I won 3 or 4 of these tournaments, and in between these I scrubbed 4 or 5 national qualification tournaments with like the same deck, which I don't know why.
Hmm.
It's like the one weekend I won the PlayStation in Dreieich with the Flamewell Cat, and the next weekend I went 0-3 with the exact same deck at a regional qualifier for nationals. But I still went to nationals just to watch, which was kind of weird.
Oh, really? Did
Yeah,
you go to like side events and stuff?
yeah, I won a side event.
I guess you
A
must
win
have.
in that.
I guess at this point you must have been realized like pretty early on that this is something I want to do really, really seriously, something I want to get really good at.
I mean, I've always had a passion for it, and I was starting to get good by that around that time. Yeah. So and when I won my first like non-premier event, that's kind of where it started to like click. That's when I started to also travel a little bit further inside Germany for other events.
Mm. Well, okay. And how do you think uh, you like what was it about the game that made you like stick for so long, for as long as you
I'm
have now?
I'm like a very competitive person in general, and Yu-Gi-Oh just turned out to be the one that I decided for. Like I think it could have easily been a different game if I just had picked up a different game around when I was really young, but it just happened to be Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know, like yeah, and that's still my biggest passion up to today.
You didn't try anything else or something
Oh yeah,
different?
I did. Yeah, I did play a lot of other games throughout, not like seriously, but like partially, like looking into them. But I don't know. Yu-Gi-Oh was just always the first and biggest thing for me. I don't know.
Do you think it was anything like special, or do you think it was just purely coincidence that it was just the first game you picked up?
No, like looking back at it today or looking at the game, I think Yu-Gi-Oh is actually one of the best competitive games that is there, and I think that's what kept me going at it because like uh, throughout the years, I think I realized that hard work and stuff actually pays off more in Yu-Gi-Oh than in other games.
Mm.
Because I've tried out a lot of games throughout the way. Like I've played chess, I played poker, I played Pokemon card game, Pokemon video game. I've actually qualified for Worlds in the video game 2 years ago,
Oh, wow.
just for fun.
Nice.
And I've played like Magic and stuff like that. But yeah, I like Yu-Gi-Oh the most.
Well, that's awesome that you stuck with it for so long. Did you have any low points where you just thought like, I'm not good enough. I can't be bothered with this anymore. I just don't want to like keep going.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I've had times where I was kind of frustrated because I was not allowed to travel to events far away just because I was pretty young and my mom just didn't want it because she didn't know the people I would be traveling with.
Yeah, that's normal.
That was kind of frustrating, but it's all right nowadays. I actually had a time where I was pretty frustrated, which is kind of funny looking at it today, but I felt like I was pretty good at playing, but I felt like I was really bad at deck building, which is kind of ironic because looking back at what I'm doing now is like it's pretty much
building good decks.
yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I was just never happy with the ratios what I would come up with, and I don't know. It's just like that's when I started really feeling like net decking most of the time. But like I don't even know how I made it out of there. Just like yeah,
Out of what exactly?
out of like feeling like that. I don't even know.
Oh, right.
I don't know why I felt like that, and I don't know why it changed. Honestly, that's like 6 years ago, I think.
Yeah. So what was like the biggest success that you think you had? Well, maybe not like the biggest, but the first time you tasted like real like some success. Like, not obviously.
Oh, the one that made me really competitive about it, and the one that really made me committed to Yu-Gi-Oh was Worlds. Because like before that,
when you actually got there.
Yeah.
Oh, so you weren't even taking it seriously before that?
I mean, I kind of, but the thing is, like before that, look, the first YCS that I ever played was YCS Bochum, because I wasn't able to travel to like fortune tours and stuff like the first premier events back then in 2007, 2008. I wasn't just not competitive by that time. And then 2010, I think it was YCS Bochum. There was no reason not to travel there because there's 2 hours from my house. Even my mother couldn't find a reason not to let me go there.
Yeah.
So I went there, and it's like my deck. It was like Egg Saber format, and I only had one warning, so I only played one warning. Which is something that nowadays I would never do. But like I went X3, so it's not that bad. But it was nothing like the mindset that I have today. And then the next YCSs I skipped because they were all in other countries. And then I remember one year, and these were also the years where I couldn't manage to qualify for nationals for some reason. And I remember my father actually my first foreign event that I went to, I could go to because my father went there with me, because that would be the only way my mom would let me go.
Yeah.
If my father would come with me, and that was Euros in Madrid.
How did that go?
I also lost on the bubble there. I think I went X4 because X3 made top cut.
Oh, okay. Do you remember what you played?
Plants.
Oh, nice. Do you remember any of your matchups?
Good plants.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still remember almost everything.
What was like a highlight of that event?
I lost to an Italian that cheated me on the bubble. Which is like,
No pattern there.
I remember losing to Rick Cherry. I don't know if you remember him.
No.
He's a UK player he lost in top 8 later.
Oh.
Also, the first 2 premier events that I went to, both Michel won.
Oh, okay.
He won Bochum and he won that Euros. Kind of interesting, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these were the first 2 events where I traveled, and it was a lot of fun, but I was passionate about it, but I wasn't like, the attitude was obviously not the same. I didn't go into an event with the mindset of, like you can do it, you can win this and whatever. And after that, I went back to playing mostly European events, and I actually topped my first one in 2012 or 11. YCS Leipzig, which was the next German YCS. I skipped all the other ones in between. And I played windups there. It was broken.
The hand loop thing, right?
Yeah, that was with the hand loop.
Okay.
I ended up losing to Simon He in top 16, which was also my first feature match at a Premier event.
How did you feel going into a feature match for the first time?
Oh, I was nervous. I was really nervous.
Wow.
I didn't know Simon. That was probably a good thing.
Yeah. What was shit, what was I gonna ask? Yeah, so your first top was what was your first top again, sorry?
Yeah, YCS Leipzig,
Right,
2012.
okay. Yeah, and
It was my second YCS and my third event in general. Premier event, I think.
so after coming off the back of that, you still weren't like, well, I mean, you obviously thought like, oh, I'm still gonna keep doing this, pretty passionately and just seeing where it goes from there.
I mean, I was at that time I was already in my first like team, it was not a really competitive team, but it was a local like connection of players. We would like trade ideas and stuff like that, and build decks together and organize travel together. So it was getting a little bit more serious, but of course, like I still at that point I couldn't just have the mindset of, I want to win an event simply because what would I be basing that on? Like without any previous like experience in that stuff.
So did you find CCG before or after Worlds?
CCG was founded in 2013.
And you went to Worlds 2012 then?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you made it to Worlds somehow, and how did you like prepare and stuff for it? Like, well, was it just
like
kind of...
Worlds? Getting to Worlds is something that like by that time I was really lucky because I was not ready to go to Worlds. I was not. I think at that European Championship I was not alongside the 4 best players in the room. Definitely not. And I beat players on the way there that definitely were better players than me at the time. Like Jake Quincy or whatever. I beat Jake Quincy in top 16, stuff like that. So it's just something that where at that time I didn't go top 4 because I was so good. I went to top 4 because it was my day pretty much. But like the feeling of it, the feeling of making top 4 at Euros, and then especially the feeling after making 3rd place at Worlds, that's where it started like to kick in. Like I want more of this. I can do more of this, and I want to do more of this, and that's where like I think I haven't missed the tournament since then, the YCS.
Wow, that's dedication.
Yeah.
What's it like at Worlds? Like, well, like when you were like leading up to Worlds, like how are you like feeling? And like, obviously it's a weird format as well, so having people to test with can be a bit awkward sometimes.
Yeah, I like right after Euros, I couldn't believe it for like a couple of days. I just went home like everything was normal, but it was also not. And then I like when like Worlds was starting to come up, I was taking Michel with me to Worlds because I was not 18, so I could take someone with me to Japan.
Yeah.
And Michel helped me prepare a lot, and he helped me stay on track because I hated Insectors with a passion in the TCG format. So I really didn't want to play it for Worlds. I was like trying the whole time to find something else. But there wasn't anything, and I didn't want to see it. But Michel forced me to keep playing Insectors because it clearly was the best deck. So I ended up playing Insectors, and it went pretty well.
What did you play? What did you play to like get an edge? Was there any like specific like tech cards and stuff you included, or?
Oh, we had a pretty solid build, but it was more at Euros. I actually played a pretty good deck, which is kind of surprising to me because I don't think I was that great at deck building. But I played a wind-up list without any Solemns in it because I felt like Solemns were pretty bad that format. And it helped me out a lot. I played like triple compiles and stuff because compiles was just amazing, and warning was just like mediocre against like Chaos Dragons because you would warning a dragon, then you would just die and stuff like that. that was a pretty good list, I think. But at Worlds, I remember playing. Did I play? I played Insectors with the obvious like triple Veiler and stuff. I played the Insector, the Layer Wire Trap, which it wasn't that popular. Or did I even play that? I considered playing it. But like, no, we played more or less a standard Insector build because that was just the best that was working. I was the only one in top 8 who played the Insector Sword, I think.
Right. Isn't that kind of important? I thought that was for the whole combo and stuff. I don't really know the deck well.
You could also play a second Gigamantis, which I think was better.
Oh, okay.
I think I should have played a second Gigamantis, but it's okay.
Fair enough.
Like that's actually something. Looking back at Worlds, makes me think like it was super amazing and stuff. But wow, I could have done better. You know, that's one of the most frustrating things. Like no one ever gets to go to Worlds when he's actually ready for it. I feel like, you know, when I would go to Worlds now, I would do so much more work. I would put so much more effort into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the same for Euros. You know, I like every European Championship since 2012. I've put a lot more effort into than the one in 2012, but still, it only works out. It worked out 2012 only.
Yeah.
That's how it is sometimes.
Yeah, of course. So, what was like your like lowest point in this game?
I don't know. Like I've had a pretty good time throughout. I don't know if there's any.
That's good.
No, but I guess before I ever won an event before Madrid was because at that time I would be like topping every time, or like no, not every time, by that time like a lot, and just never win.
Mm-hmm.
And people would actually start making like fun of me at that time. It's like, all right. But yeah, I was kind of frustrated by that a little bit.
And then your best like point in the game, I guess, was getting to Worlds, do you think, or like coming out in third, or where would you say was like your happiest moment?
Yeah, being at Worlds was the best. I think the best thing ever. Because Worlds really is amazing. Worlds just changes people. Like the stage is just like it's something different.
Yeah,
it's hard to explain, but it's like, yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, yeah, tell us about your move to CCG and like how that came about and where that came from.
We founded CCG basically.
Yeah.
Because like the team I was in was like we would be we were all friendly and stuff, and it was a really casual team. You know, there was just like no real reason for us to be a team, because all we would do is just like hang out and go to events together, which you can do with anyone. You don't have to be in a team to do that. But at the time, I was actually looking for something to like improve myself. I wanted to play with people, test with people, build decks with people in order to actually get better, you know, instead of just having fun, because I can do that with people I'm not in a team with.
Mm-hmm.
And so around that time, I was actually thinking about going to United Gosus, because they were a big thing back then. Yeah. But then I don't even know whose idea it was and who asked me to go to UG? CCG.
Oh, to CCG.
No, to CCG.
Okay. Why did you choose not to join UG?
It was just kind of like, on the one hand, I didn't really want to leave my other team, because we were good friends and stuff. And then so I was on the verge of like going and not going and stuff. Yeah. And then when I think it was one of the founding members of Complexity Card Game, which you probably don't know, his name was Tutu.
All right.
He was a good friend of mine, and he kind of like convinced me to leave my other team, but not for Gosus, but to like build our own thing. And so that's what I in the end agreed on.
So who are the exact founding members?
Oh, there's no one left.
Oh, really? No one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Alpai was the last one.
Ah, I see. Oh, is he that old? Well, I didn't think he was. I thought he joined or something. I didn't realize he was a founder.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did CCG help you, like, over the years? Like, do you think it was, you know, a good decision? How do you think, like...
I definitely think it's pretty impressive what we've built up throughout the years by now. and yeah, it's definitely helped me. Just like getting input on my deck list from really good people is just something everyone should have. Also, like throughout the last couple of years, I've built up a pretty solid circle of people I talk to throughout also Facebook, like from America, Australia, and stuff like that, where we trade ideas and stuff, and that's really important for when I'm building decks. It's definitely something that helps out a lot.
Who do you think has been your biggest influence in this game?
Mitchell, I think.
Oh, cool. Why doesn't he play anymore?
I know he wasn't that good anymore.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
He's into Hearthstone.
Yeah.
No.
He likes bingo. Well, anyway.
I mean, like the one thing that really bothers me nowadays is that I can't play as much as I would like to, because that's, I think, one of the reasons why I became the player that I am today, is because I used to play so much. I used to go to locals as much as I could, and locals is not there anymore. I simply don't have a local anymore, and that's, I think, part of the reason why I had like streaks where I just didn't improve as much. You know, the streams, the streaks where I would be topping events, but I wouldn't really improve, because between these events I basically wouldn't play at all sometimes. That's something I definitely miss, and that's something I definitely want to improve on again, like getting more practice.
Yeah. So, have you had any major drama in this game?
No, it's like I'm really not that kind of personality.
Yeah.
Which is something that, like, when I was watching the first two player profiles, I was like, oh man, what am I gonna tell about myself? Because I'm really not that, like, that character, you know, that like public character. I'm not the type who posts stuff on Facebook like so regular about the game or stuff like that. I'm just like, there's not much to say. I'm just like really passionate about the game, and it's been quite a few years now, and I'm looking back at, like, I think over 10 years of experience now, and yeah, and that's just also like when people ask me for advice and like how to get good, is like, okay, yeah, gather 10 years of experience, and then you need some good logic and some really good understanding of the game, and that's all, you know, just 10 years. I'm not sure if there are any shortcuts. I'm not sure, really.
You never had like some fight or something over, like, you know, missing cards or some shit like that at locals, like even something small like that? It's just always just been happy days.
I mean, I got beaten once at locals.
Well, physically.
Like just a little slap, nothing's too special.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. One guy took one of my cards, and I knew that he had it. A very good friend of mine who was just like trolling me all the time, and he took my card, and I was just like, "Give me back my card," and he's like, "Oh, I don't have it. I don't have it," and then like another guy would be like getting really annoyed that I would be accusing him all the time. And he's like, he says he doesn't have it. Why do you ask him if he, like, why do you tell him to give it back? He doesn't have it and stuff. And I was like, no, I know that he has it. And then at some point he slapped me.
What the fuck?
And I was like 14 or something, and he was like way older. So yeah, that happened.
Did you just sit down and be like, okay, sorry?
Yeah. And then he gave it back, the card he had it.
The whole time. Oh god. Alright, let's see, where are we at now? What have I got next? I had some good questions
and
here.
It was not two darks that made Construct. It was not two darks.
Oh yeah, that was the Madrid thing or something, right? What was that about?
It was a dark and a light.
Wait, so I thought that whole thing was about you fusing two darks.
No, it was a dark and a light, but the light happened to be the Construct at the same time.
Oh, okay. Because I remember you.
It was a construct and
the
dark dragon, and there was a Shadow and there was a light monster that just happened to be the same card. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I even remember you apologizing in Lithium's deck profile, I think.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. It's like the most stupidest thing. That's looking back at my tops. Like people look at my tops and they're like, "Wow, 21 tops," and I'm just like, I'm seeing 20 events where I lost to somebody, where I couldn't win the event. So it's actually for me, it's not that impressive.
Mm.
And the one time I actually did win, will always be remembered as the one where I made the wrong fusion. So I'm not done with this game.
Still gotta win an event and not have it tainted, I guess. But I mean, I don't think it would have made a difference anyway.
No, I would have won with the win die as well,
Yeah.
but I would have lost if I didn't take the fusion back. I think
All right. Okay.
there was one turn before that, which is something that no one ever complains about. Everyone always only complains about the fusion. But when I tributed a Shadol core for a beast, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I took back a fusion. But you cannot take back a fusion if you tribute core, and I didn't know that. I just didn't read the card properly because I picked up Shadows a few days before the event, and
I guess you just
I
assumed that if it just goes to the graveyard.
yeah, that's what I thought it was, and no one noticed, of course, and I set that Shadow fusion as a fake set and did an emptiness next to it, and he hit the Shadow fusion with an MST, and I would have lost if he would have hit the Vanity's emptiness, which he would have hit the Vanity's emptiness for sure if I didn't have the fusion.
Mm.
But that's something that no one noticed. That's something that people are not complaining about that. People are just complaining about the
Yeah.
freaking construct, which is stupid because I would have won with Winda as well. But yeah, so like yeah, for me, YCS Madrid is like it's mixed feelings because it was like I feel like I did deserve to win an event by that time. I just didn't want it to be
Like that.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like topping so many events and so consistently, but only having one win? Like, do you think that's down to anything, or do you think that's just how it is? Like, this is Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, it just has to be your day to win
I
an event.
mean, it's. I mean, I have lost two incredible misplays as well. I remember one of my most frustrating losses was top 8 at YCS Brussels, where I had the game won and I just made a mistake and I lost because of it.
Mm.
It was a feature match as well, by the way, but I was super angry at myself after that. But like, I mean, I have a list of all the people that I lost to at events,
Really?
and
Wow.
yeah, and
Hit list.
it's a pretty strong list looking back at it. Like it has like Simon He, Stefano Memoli, the world champion,
Oh yeah.
Ali, Alpine twice, Federico twice, the European champion. So like looking back at it, like for some people of these, it's like it's okay to lose to simply because of course you can't have a 100% win rate in the game. The whole game is just about the whole game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any competitive game that is based on luck is just about trying to put the percentages into your favor as much as you can.
Yeah.
That's at least that's my understanding of a competitive game. Because like if you would take two like similar Yu-Gi-Oh decks and pair two players against each other who are exactly at the same skill level, you would have a 50-50.
Yeah.
If both players are the same skill level, both have the same deck, it's a 50-50. And like the definition of being good at the game is making that percentage go into your favor as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, if I can build a deck that from the start gives me 60-70%, that's a good thing. If I can be a good player that it gives me like the chance of winning against someone with even a worse draw and stuff like that. That's all that you should try to do in a competitive game.
Yeah.
At least I feel like. And so against some of these people, whereas if I play against a random guy, maybe I have a higher win percentage, but against some of these people, I just didn't have that, so it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Like, that makes sense. What was been your like?
But yeah, I feel like my rate in wins is still not high enough for what kind of player I am today. I'm not happy with the ratio.
Yeah, I mean, can only get better. So, with going past all previous formats and stuff, like what's been your favorite deck that you've played with over the years?
Necros.
Oh, that was quick. And why is that?
It's just the best format. It was the best format, and I like Dragon Rulers a lot, and I like the Mermaid a lot. And I guess like honorable mentions are I like Wind-Ups because those are the deck where I got my first top with, and I went to Worlds with.
It wasn't a very good format though, was that?
Hmm?
Was that a good format though?
It was decent, yeah, I think.
I mean, I don't know
Not
anything.
as good as the ones that follows, but it was okay. Hand traps kind of balanced it out a little bit. It was not like getting looped all the time. It wasn't like that, but yeah, different story. My favorite format of all time was Necros, yeah, and Dragon Rulers.
I'm assuming Necros when the clowns and stuff came out, yeah?
Yeah, in general,
Surely not with the
the
Jin.
worst every Necros format except for
Jin.
the first one. No, Jin is just something else that just like works on the percentages, like someone who would always go Jin would still not have a really good win rate against me because obviously you would be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, it was annoying to lose to Jin, but it was just like it was a calculated risk in Necros format where you would build your deck to a point where a worse player would still not beat you consistently, even if you would go for Jin lock all the time, because simply like statistically you would have an out a certain number of times. It was okay.
Yeah.
I actually the European Championship with Necros, I actually didn't even play Jin myself, even though it was allowed.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people were actually doing that, just getting rid of it altogether, make your opponent's eclipses useless and stuff like that.
Yeah, the thing was like I was noticing when I was still playing Jin, I would still never go for it simply because I didn't want to play the percentages in that way, because I knew that when I make Jin and he has an out, I lose. But if I don't go Jin, I'm still probably winning a normal game of Necros mirror match. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. One final point before I go to the chat for some quick fire questions. Basically, just simply where do you go from now? Like, what's your long term goals, and yeah, just moving forward.
I mean, I won't be happy unless I'm recognized as the best. That's when I'm stopping, maybe.
World champion.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot to beat with the Hayama, 2-time champion, 3-time competitor, finalist. It's crazy.
It's like,
easy.
Right.
All right, let's see. I've got a lot of questions here that I've probably missed out on. I
mean, like, I still see a lot to improve. I always see, I think that the day where you stop feeling like you can improve anymore is just the day where you should just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And every event I notice things that I can do better, and like, so I won't stop unless I feel like there's nothing for me to learn anymore. But I don't think that will come anytime soon.
I see. So, what do you think of the format right now?
After new ban list?
Yeah, September, I guess.
It's all right. I feel like it still needs some time to develop because the format as it is right now has just a bunch of decks that are at a weird power level. Just like I feel like all the decks right now are decent, but they are also like really lackluster. Like I'm playing against Blue Eyes and I see what they can do, and I'm like, there has to be something that can easily beat it. And the same goes for the PK deck now and all that kind of stuff. I feel like everything is kind of weak right now, and I don't like formats where everything is weak. I like formats where stuff is broken. Like Necros and stuff. Those turns out to be the best formats. Because, yeah.
Interesting.
The thing is, like formats like these, they were really good because like unfair for any player because anyone had the possibility of having a broken deck. Like if I play Dragon Rulers and my opponent plays Dragon Rulers, they don't give me a unfair advantage in that sense.
Well, that's one way to look at it. I disagree a lot, to be honest.
I know. But that's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can enjoy diversity. That's a different thing. You can feel like, yeah, diversity makes me have more fun, but it doesn't necessarily make a competitive game any better.
Yeah, that's probably true, I guess.
Different things.
Some of these questions are just useless. Like, what the hell?
I don't mind.
Do you feel like the game has got more or less skillful over time, or do you think it's become more about deck building?
It differs from format to format. There has been it definitely has been getting better and better up until Dragon Rulers, Mermail, and Nacros. These were definitely the most skillful, but it definitely has dropped a little bit since then. And it goes up and down with like the stuff that is released, the current decks. We have had incredibly bad formats, like when everyone was playing Hat. That's something where, and Girgia is stuff that I hated. It's like actually bad formats, and like, yeah. But it goes up and it goes down. I don't know.
What did you play in that format, just out of curiosity?
I topped nationals with Hat, which I'm still not proud about. But then
It doesn't seem Euros, like you. I thought you'd pick something like Sylvans or Mythic Ruler.
Oh, I hated playing it. I was fighting against playing it so hard until the night before. What?
I thought maybe Infernity or something like that. That'd be the kind of thing you choose.
After that, for Euros, I built a Mermail deck, which someone was pretty successful with. I'm not gonna say any name.
Was Robin? Who won it?
No.
Wait.
Huh?
Who won on Euros with Mermail, that format?
I don't know. Some random.
I feel like you're trolling me because I'm sure he's familiar. Maybe it's
he was gonna play Frog Monarchs until the Friday, and then I gave him the Mermail list that I was building together with Marcelo.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool list and stuff. I remember seeing it back as a pleb back then. I was thinking, oh wow, Lance, that's actually a really good idea.
At nationals, it was just like a matter of we just hadn't solved the format yet, so we played something shitty simply because I didn't have time up until that point.
Oh yeah, it was Eugen.
Yeah. At nationals, I was just like, I was super unhappy also afterwards with the deck that I chose, and so we put in a lot of work for Euros with the Mermail list. So yeah.
Someone's asking about Hearthstone. I don't really know if you know much about Hearthstone, but someone's asking, how much do you want to take Yogg-Saron out?
Oh, Yogg-Saron took me out of the game. I'm not really playing anymore. The format's terrible. I used to play quite a bit of Hearthstone. I even qualified for like a World Championship qualifier and stuff, but I don't know.
It's an interesting question here.
It's an interesting game, but it's not that great.
There's an interesting question here saying, what do you think about American teams claiming to be the best in the world?
Like the whole team thing is something that people approach very weirdly, in my opinion, because Yu-Gi-Oh is a single player game, and like I don't know what is there so much. Like you can build decks together with a team, and but I don't really care if anyone claims to be the best team, because in the end everyone is still going to be playing on their own. So like yeah, we're gonna beat them one by one.
Oh, this is actually something I forgot to ask. What do you think about everyone net decking you recently? Just everywhere I see pendulum decks after pendulum deck, just playing like your lists. Like, how do you feel about that? Have you ever been in that position?
That is actually annoying, because the pendulum deck, like people are actually naming it. They're calling it Joshua Schmidt pendulum, which I've made better than that deck. That's what annoys me. The first time the first time something gets named after me, it's a pendulum deck, which I don't even like pendulum. But I mean, I don't mind. I like giving deck profiles. I like giving in-depth deck profiles, so I can look back after a couple of years and see what I thought when I was doing it. And so, like, I mean, the deck was extremely good. So I don't mind people copying it. It's okay. I'm usually pretty proud of the decks that I built, so it's nice to get some recognition on that. I don't mind.
Yeah, must feel powerful. There's I think that's everything. So unless anyone in the chat has something really important they want to mention, then I guess we'll probably close up. One last question from Alex that he really wanted me to ask you. Yeah, he's asking, why did your mum poke him on Facebook?
I have no idea, man. I didn't understand.
So for anyone watching, Josh
didn't know she was into Indians.
Josh's mum poked Alexander Lisgate on Facebook for whatever reason. So
I forgot to ask her today. Actually, he sent me yesterday.
So tune in for the sequel someday. We'll find out. Well, I guess that does it. So thanks everyone for coming out. It's been almost an hour. So this was yeah. Let me know who you want to see next for our History of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Player series. And
probably missed a lot of stuff now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely will be some stuff.
The thing is, like, it's been so long. Like, actually, I spent a good portion of the day today just thinking about what I've been through with this game, and it's like I forgot half of it. It's been a lot of fun just to remember today what
yeah, it's just one big blur.
Shit this happened, stuff like that, you know. Because it's actually I actually didn't realize how much of a journey it's been.
Yeah,
it's over 10 years, man.
It's a big part of your life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask one last question because this guy's asked it a few times and I've just brushed over it. But what do you think about deck building and how it's changed over the years? Do you think it's gone from bad to worse, or do you think it's kind of remained the same?
I think it's always been important, but it's getting more attention nowadays. I think the deck building and the theory of Yu-Gi-Oh has definitely gotten a lot more important for people. I think I remember back then, people just wouldn't care. They just would play what they liked, play what they feel like. And nowadays, if you just think about putting a 41st card in your deck, everyone is going to start screaming at you for the couple percentages you're losing in the process,
Yeah, that's true.
That's just things that people didn't used to do. In years ago, people wouldn't theorize like that. So it definitely has changed a lot, and it's definitely gotten a lot more important. And also the thing is, people are now the stuff is a lot more public, because back then we didn't have deck profiles, we didn't have online deck lists, we had coverages that were a lot worse than today. So first of all, you wouldn't know what to expect from other people, and also you would other people's would play a lot of worse decks, no one would be able to copy your really good deck list, and nowadays you have a lot of people who copy a deck and then just have it at a certain standard, that's why the average deck list quality at a tournament is a lot higher nowadays. That's why you gotta still be a step ahead, so your deck has to be even better.
Yeah, it's you heard it here, folks. So this has been Joshua Schmidt's History in Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, you got some insight into all his different opinions and stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to get some more bigger names and stuff. This video, if you tuned in late, or if you want to see the repeat, will be up on YouTube not tonight, tomorrow night, because I've got something else scheduled for tonight.